Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Go. Will here. Go ahead and give everyone a few minutes as always to filter in, and then we'll kick off here. As always, if you have a question, you can use raise hand. You can ask in the chat or ask in the Q&A section. We do have one pre-submitted question that Maru's put into the Lunch and Learn chat for us. I'll give Manal a minute to join in case they want or intending to join before we jump into the answer for that. Oh, interesting. Hey, Manal, it's odd that we don't show you in the attendees list. I wonder why that is. Okay, hey Manal. Odd, I didn't see you in the attendees list, so let's go here. So I use the set values in column for Excel, and I build an array. However, I need to input values as an integer rather than a string. I tried to create data in set value, but I didn't get the outcome I was looking for. When I open Excel, I get an error message saying that the number stored as text. Is there a way I can store item 1 and item 2 as an integer rather than a string? I tried a converter and it didn't resolve the issue. I cannot configure them in Excel first because these values will change consecutively depending on the approval of the assignment. And I'm getting all the data from the report. So you're saying that you won't be saving the data into the same columns each time? I believe I was trying to answer, I think I answered this forum post that you posted, offering the Excel-based or editing the Excel column. Let's see here. Let's see here. What is today? 2/28, last day of Feb. All right, so you can't control the Excel column. All right, so let's go to data, Excel CSV. Here's our set. Supply default for column, file column, default value. Set values in row. Or you're using set values in column, okay? Set values in column. Try to parse. Numbers, new values is a string list. We pass these out as strings. File type, input file. Set background, set bold, set formula value, set numeric value. You might be able to use set numeric value with inside of a loop. Add worksheet. CSV to object, list to CSV, insert row, replace row, run flow for CSV, set bold, set column width, set date time value, set Excel borders, set formulas, set italics, set underline, set value, set values in row, also takes and lists of strings. I think what you'll need to do is you have to put together some sort of loop in the set numeric value, almost certainly, to get this to set itself as a number. Then you can. So right now, set values in column does take in a list of strings. It doesn't give you the ability to control. Like if we do build array and we do constant, it just gives us a single string. So it assumes the values you're passing in are strings. But if you were to loop, like you could say like, you'd have to do something like this, get row as array, or get row count. Where's row? Isn't it get row count? Get worksheet count. Get row as array, get value. Am I going crazy? Where is get row? Anyone else know where's our get row count? I know we have a get row count step, right? Am I going crazy? Well, it might be something like this. You might have to loop your list, and then assuming you have two of these, so then you'd pass in your input file. Of course, you'd set this to auto select. Worksheet number would be worksheet number. I have get line count, but not row. Oh, line count? Yeah, there you go. That's what we need. I'm thinking about it wrong. And then row would probably pull its value from the item index from the for each step. And then column, you'd have to probably dynamically determine what column as well. So it'd be something like this. Let me create a quick Excel file. And this will be string 1, string 2, and I'll say this is numbers. Let me download this. Okay, so we'll create our file. This will be Excel input. Type will be file data. And then we can pass that in as our input file here. Now, what I'll do is I'll use set values in column in concert with this approach. So set values in column will be, input file will be input file. File type will be constant. Worksheet number would be 0. Now, row will be 1. Column will be 1. And then here, I'll just make a quick string list. Let me just try to get this kind of set up. This will be fake lists of strings. And then here, I'm just going to do A, B, C, D. And I'll pass that into my new values, select from flow, fake list of strings. Set these both to false. All right, now I can for each, I'll just for each my fake list of strings, just so I have something to loop in my numeric value column. I could do this dynamically, but I'm going to say this is column 3. And the new value is going to be the index of the item. So item index here. And then I need to show a form for me to download that file I just created. So let me build a form here with a file download. So data, file download. This will be called new Excel. And a button. Okay, new Excel will be Excel input. Now let's see. Let me save this and run a test here. Bring in my file, save a unit test, and run this. If I download this file, I'm just gonna see what this opens up as. I have 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so that, I guess I could, why don't I just try to import it here, show you what I built. Import, upload, I'll bring this file over. And I'll say insert a new sheet. And this is what I got out of that. So we compare these two steps together. We would just need to make some tweaks here so we can get the values. But this should, I believe, this is saving it as a number now. So admittedly, I don't know. Let me see here. Excel view cell data type. Go to the formulas tab, more functions, information type. Sorry, I'm not an Excel master here. Formulas. More functions, information. More functions, information, type. Yeah, that's a number. Okay, so if we return a 1, if we use type, it's a 1. So that is a number cell, right? If we see here, type C4, just to confirm, if I do type, if I do type A2, should give me a number 2. Okay, great. If I'm getting a report Excel file rather than creating a new Excel file and sending the Excel file via email, would this work for that case too, since I will send a new Excel file every time? Yeah, I mean, you're interacting with the report. You're running a report from a run report step, right? And then you're updating some of the values on that Excel file before you send it. This won't be any different. This process wouldn't change any. It didn't matter. It doesn't matter if the file I created here comes as a new file or if it's from a run report step. It's just adding column data here using set values in column, and then adding another column here, but having to use a loop because the set numeric value step doesn't have a multi, column or multi-row functionality. So we have to pair it with some sort of loop step to get what we want out of it. That makes sense. I think you're asking me this question on our forum, so I'm gonna go try to answer your question. I saw this, which was string to integer in the Excel. the set numeric value step. Does this help you at all? Is this getting you the answer that you think you might need? So you're doing, okay. Yeah, run report. Yeah, add executive summary worksheet. Okay, set values in column. Yeah. So you just need to include in your flow here, at some point you need to loop the ones that need to be numbers, you're going to need to loop through in this pattern where you loop maybe the number of rows, and for each row you set numeric value. And you see here, I'm using, it asks you for the row and I'm using item index here. I might need to do something like initialize like a number, since I don't want this to start on row 0. I might have to add like a, row, my own row index here, row counter, which is a number. Make sure I set that to 1, and then pair that with an add step and a change value, so that every time it takes in row counter and adds 1 to it, and then updates the value of row counter. So as it moves through, it's always starting, and it doesn't want to start from 0. So yeah, I think this is what you'll need to do if you need to specifically insert numbers into an Excel file. Any other questions about this? Yeah, I think the hardest part will just be figure out what to loop on. Probably just rows, I guess. Probably just your you can get line count. All right, what other questions do we have today?
Hey, how's it going, Will?
Hey, Jake, how are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. So I have a page slash like dashboard that I use to illustrate case entities, like a report.
Okay.
And based off the report viewer, I show the folder activity panel based on the folder ID that they selected. And every time that I click on the report viewer on the row, it displays the folder description, or like it opens up the folder in a new window, not a new window, but off to the side, where I would really like it for just, you select the row and then it shows the folder activity panel on the right, rather than pulling up the side folder description. Does that make any sense?
You want like a report on the left-hand side and then an activity panel on the right? Is that what you're saying?
I currently have. Yeah, that's currently what I have built, and inside the report viewer, I have it where it displays the information based off the bus, the folder ID. But every time I select it, like creates a separate tab kind of and opens up the folder viewer rather than staying on the same dashboard screen.
So you want to prevent it from doing the open view as well?
Yeah.
Okay, like if I let me I could get this up really quick. Probably just an easy action filter that we need to apply. So this is a report and actually. All right, so let me really quickly create a case. Action view. Just give it a
The
single
reason why I did
property.
was a series of calls, APIs and stuff, and there's no way to really track if anything fails or not. So I went down the route of creating case entities and on air hit a subflow that edits the case entity and stuff like that
Okay.
to pull in there.
All right, so here's a folder called data, and we're gonna build a page. On that page, we're gonna put a report viewer, and we're gonna search for activity and put a folder activity panel. And on the folder activity panel, we're gonna say get folder ID from selection bus. We'll call this thing selected. I'm guessing you got all this stuff set up right now, right? Selected folder ID. We'll
Yeah,
go into a report, and we're going to create a new report. And we're going to come find our case data type here, which is action view. And we'll add entity name, and we'll add folder ID. And then under folder ID, we will say send data as filter change, and we'll paste in a selected folder ID. And then here I will save this, and I will go to my data folder, and I'll say manage page, add page dashboard. Call this data, pick the page I just created. There's my thing. Now if I come and say add entity or add case action view, I'll call this action 1. Okay, so there's action 1. Let me add another one here. Action 2. Okay, so there's action 1, action 2. Okay, so that's opening that up, which I don't want. Are you getting that view, or is this actually when you click in, you get to something like this?
No, this is what you just ran into. That's what I'm trying to eliminate.
That slide out?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see here. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that myself. Let me edit my page. Let me look at my report viewer here. And let's look at behavior. Okay. Let me ask an associate if someone knows how to. Okay, it's in the report. It's in the report here. Actions, show actions on right click.
I gotcha.
You mean you're saying system? Settings. Drill down report. It's 7:10. The report viewer? Yeah, that's what I was trying to find. Yeah, sorry, just a moment, just trying to. There might be a global setting too. Panel, no. Action. Ah, here we go, grid. Grid row left click action type. So under system settings, there's row left click action type, show slider, show actions, no actions, default action. And then also row right click. So if I change this to show actions, I come back to my folder here and I left click, it's going to give me my action view, which let me add a comment here. So I can come back to my view and I should be able to see the change here. So we can make these actions not show either if you want, but that'll prevent the slider from coming out. Sorry, it took me a second to figure that out.
What system variable or object was that?
I'm so sorry, what?
You said it's under system settings, which?
Yeah, system settings, designer studio settings.
All right.
And here, and this will be global for like all reports if you want to turn it off. If you search for action, there'll be a header here called grid. And then it's going to say row left click and row right click action type.
All right, I appreciate that.
Yeah, you bet. But you were saying that you were needing to use a case for some reason that you didn't think you should have to use it. Is that?
Well, I don't think it's built for that purpose, but I'm using it to basically serve as a logging platform, a log platform. So any call that's ran, any page that's uploaded is kind of being tracked, so we can basically monitor any agents work throughout the day, and like they encounter any errors, they would report to the to our team that handles that, and then they would pass it off to the developers. And we needed some back end way to like capture the error messages and like the API responses and stuff of that nature.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, say that again.
I said basically just serving as a log of all calls.
Okay. Is that how many are you expecting to have a lot of those?
Yeah, I mean, there'd probably be like, I don't know, $7,000 to $10,000 or 7,000 to 10,000 calls a day.
Yeah, I think the case is probably going to be, I don't know that a case is going to be a good solution for that. It's probably going to, might get bit, you create a bunch of extra data to create a case that you might not need. It's just, on success,
I was going to delete it. If it wasn't successful, then I was just going to keep the entry there.
Okay. Like, what about like a simple data structure or something that just, whose only job is just to hold like a data record? Like when do you create the case? Like when you make a call, any time a call is made?
Yeah, so I mean, we have like a main dashboard, like a form. On that form, there's different things they could do, like a ID lookup and all that jazz. But once they click on that, it creates an entity. And basically, the way I have it set up now is if it's successful, it basically creates an entity as a successful entity. And if it's a failure, then it sets a field that says ending status as failure.
Okay.
But I mean, I was concerned that the overloaded data would kind of screw up the back end. So I was thinking that on successful to delete the entity. If it's not successful, then have the entity still displayed in the dashboard, and so that our team can review it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could still use like a normal data store, like just to do that dashboard, like with reporting. You could use something like a flow inline field, or like not flow inline field, excuse me, but like if you wanted to show, like a case sounds like it just might be overly heavy for that. Like you might, even if you delete them, and you're doing that number, that it might create some data sort of size issues. There's nothing that's going to clean the data up for you, but like a simple database structure should be able to hold that a lot more, that kind of data more gracefully. You could have a report, you could have an action to say view error message or whatever, right? If a user could right click and then you could just show a decisions form with the details of the error on that. We do this in our exception handling project. We could send you. You could see an example of that. In fact, I could show it. I could show you an example on our support system, what that kind of looks like right now. I'm just going to give you some ideas.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Because currently the platform we're on right now, it's whenever I have an error come in, I basically go to the logs and filter by like a consumer number or like a field that represents what account they're working on. And I have a log of every page element they hit and the API integrations and everything, like responses and stuff like that.
Yeah, here, like on my screen right now, this is I'm gonna go to a dashboard. This is our air handling project. So whenever on our support.decisions.com server, anytime what we do is we bundle this with like a catch exception step, where anytime an error is a hit in a flow, it goes to a subflow and it creates an assignment. But really, it creates these exception history records, and this is just a report. It does have some actions we've built on it, like to go look at a flow or to go to the folder that holds that flow to make it easier to see. But we're just using a normal decisions database structure to hold this kind of information. And this is gonna, if you're doing large volumes, I think this is gonna scale. This approach would scale a lot more gracefully than the case approach might.
Yeah, I like that. If you could go and shoot that to my email, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Maru, if you could ask Josh Lax for that, please, and send that over to Jake. After, Josh can, or someone on the PS team can give us the most current version of the exception handler project.
Sure, I'll go ahead and do that.
If Josh is gone, he might actually be out. Then just ask Josiah or anyone on the architecture team, please. But yeah, Jake, we're happy to shoot that over for you, so you have access to that and see if that might fit your need here a little better. Either way, now at least you know how to prevent that slide out from coming out.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else got anything today? Okay. All right. Well, that takes us to 12:36. Thanks, everybody. I will be here same time tomorrow if you guys have any questions. And always please make sure everyone else at your orgs knows that we host these Monday through Thursday at noon to help you guys out. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon.